Today we're tackling the question that I get asked every time people find out I have a Harvest Right freeze dryer. Is freeze drying actually worth the cost? Let's get real here. This investment is between probably $2,500 to $4,500. Well, that's not pocket change to most of us. Before we put that kind of money down, we need to know what we're getting into. Hi, I'm Carol from Almost 2 Acres. Today I'm going to give you the complete picture, the good, the bad, and the completely loud of freeze dryers. By the end of this video, you're going to know if a freeze dryer belongs in your homestead or if it's just an appliance that's going to collect dust.
First, let's talk about what makes freeze drying so appealing, because there are some genuinely impressive benefits. Freeze drying removes moisture through sublimation, turning ice directly into vapor without using heat. And that matters because it preserves up to 97% of your food's original nutrients. Compare that to dehydrating, which keeps about 60%, or canning at about 40%. The shelf life is incredible too. We're talking from 10 to 25 years for certain foods when properly stored with oxygen absorbers. That means the tomatoes I freeze-dried this summer could actually still be good in 2050. Sounds amazing, right? But here's where we need to pump the brakes and talk about reality. Let's start with the money. A small unit runs about $2,700, medium around $3,100, and the large units can hit $4,400, and that's for the standard pump models. Oil-free pumps cost even more. But the purchase price is just the beginning. You need to factor in electricity costs. Each cycle uses 15 to 20 kilowatt hours. That's about the same energy a chest freezer uses in an entire month, but you're using it in 20 to 30 hours. At the national average electricity rate, that's roughly $5 a batch, but it can be higher depending on where you live. Storage supplies, mylar bags, oxygen absorbers, vacuum sealer bags, mason jars. These add up fast. Budget at least a few $100s to get started with proper storage. Maintenance. If you have an oil pump model, you'll need to change the oil regularly, every 20 to 30 batches or so. The oil is not expensive, but it's another time task on your list. Space requirements. These machines are good sized, about the size of an apartment refrigerator, and they need to live somewhere you can tolerate the noise, which we'll get to in a minute. I follow one creator who calculated that with bulk buying from Costco, they made over $1,000 worth of freeze-dried food with just $200 worth of ingredients. So yes, you can recoup your investment if you use it regularly, but that is a big if. Let's talk about something people don't warn you about enough, the noise. These machines are loud. Even the quiet pump models sound like a washing machine stuck on the spin cycle mixed with a vacuum cleaner, and they run for 20 to 40 hours per batch. Most owners keep them in a garage, basement, or utility room with a closed door. If you're in an apartment or have limited space, this could be a big negative. You do not want this running in your kitchen while you're trying to have dinner or watch TV. But after a year of listening to the sound, I can tell you that it now lulls me to sleep in the next room. Now let's talk about time, because freeze drying isn't just set it and forget it. Prep work. Every piece of food needs to be washed, peeled, sliced, or diced before it goes in. For vegetables, many need blanching first or they won't rehydrate properly later. For complete meals, you're cooking them entirely beforehand. But doing this work up front saves huge time when the meal needs to be served. That is a huge plus. The cycle. Most batches take 24 to 36 hours to complete. You can speed this up by pre-freezing your food in your regular freezer first, but that requires planning ahead and freezer space. Storage time. After the cycle finishes, you need to package everything properly within a few minutes. Freeze-dried food pulls moisture from the air incredibly fast. You'll be vacuum sealing or using mylar bags with oxygen absorbers. It's not difficult, but it does take time. One creator compared buying a freeze dryer to buying a treadmill. If you're committed and using it regularly, it'll transform your life. But if it becomes a clothes hanger, it's just an expensive reminder of good intentions that didn't work out.
I do have a freeze dryer and I absolutely love it. If you'd like to check out my Harvest Right link, it is in the description.
Okay, so what's actually worth freeze drying? There are so many. Let's start with fruits and berries. They come out like crunchy candy. Strawberries, blueberries, and raspberries are amazing, whether you eat them like that or rehydrate them. Vegetables, when properly blanched and rehydrated, they taste remarkably fresh. Think corn, peas, squash. One of my favorites, complete meals. Soups, chili, casseroles, pasta dishes. These are a go-to for quick dinners or emergency food. Another huge winner, eggs. Scrambled or raw, they rehydrate beautifully and give you shelf-stable eggs. I have a video on freeze-drying eggs. It was easy and they are rehydrating so well for instant use in baking and cooking. Freeze-drying herbs is so amazing. They keep their color, flavor, and aroma better than air drying. And oh, they smell so good while they're freeze-drying too. DIY supplements. This is where it gets interesting. You can freeze dry citrus peels for vitamin C powder, ginger for anti-inflammatory supplements, bone broth for collagen, all for pennies compared to store-bought supplements. The disappointing ones, foods with high fat content. Avocados, fatty meats, and whole milk can go rancid faster. Some fruits with extremely high water content. Grapes and watermelon can be a hit or miss. Certain textures. Some things just don't rehydrate well. The texture can be off even if the taste is fine. For me, that's green beans.
Before we move on to the decision-making process, please take this time to like and subscribe to my channel. I want to make more videos about gardening and preserving the harvest.
So here's the bottom line. A freeze dryer is worth it if you fit these criteria. You have a garden like I do and regularly deal with lots of produce harvest all at once. You buy in bulk when things are on sale. We have a Mennonite community near, and I am able to buy quality fresh produce very reasonably. You're committed to long-term food storage and emergency preparedness. I'm not a prepper, but after having lived without electricity for 4 days a few years ago, I realized being prepared is a very important thing to do, even in modern society. You have space for the machine and proper storage for your freeze-dried items. You'll actually use it regularly, at least a few batches per month. During harvest, you will want a second one, believe me. You want to make your own food-based supplements and save money on commercial freeze-dried foods. You have the time to prep, process, and package. Skip it if you're tight on space or live in an apartment. Your budget is already stretched thin. You rarely cook from scratch or preserve food. You don't have time for food prep and processing. The noise would be a major problem in your living situation. If a freeze dryer isn't in the cards right now, that doesn't mean you can't preserve food effectively. Canning, dehydrating, fermenting, and root cellaring are all excellent methods that cost a fraction of what a freeze dryer does. Dehydrating retains less nutrition, but a good dehydrator costs $200 to $400, not thousands. Canning has been feeding families for over a century. Don't feel like you need freeze drying to be successful at food preservation. So is freeze drying worth it? For the right person, absolutely. It's an incredible tool that can save you money, reduce waste, preserve nutrition, and give you incredible food security. But it's not for everyone, and that's okay. This is a major investment that requires commitment, space, and time. If you're still on the fence, I'd recommend this. Start by buying some commercial freeze-dried foods and see how you like cooking with them. Join some freeze-drying groups online and learn from people who already own machines. Calculate your actual cost based on how much you preserve now through other methods. Don't let YouTube excitement or FOMO push you into a purchase this big. Make sure it truly fits your lifestyle, your goals, and your budget.
Hey, are you ready yet to give this video a thumbs up? What's keeping you back from buying a freeze dryer? Or do you have one and do you love it? Or maybe not like it so much? Let me know in the comments. Until next time, let's get researching freeze dryers.